digital media with children. So they come from public schools to our museum, and we work together with them, because all the public schools have to, they have in their curriculum that they have to work with digital media, and a lot of the educators don't know how to do it. So they come to our place that we work together with them. That is one thing I do. On the other hand, I am an Echt Dabei coach. Echt Dabei was founded by Paula Blackman and Thomas Mösle in Germany, and it is a prevention program supported by the German health insurances for kindergarten and primary schools to help the children, the educators, and the parents to achieve a critical and risk-free media use in this kindergarten and primary school time. The aim of Echt Dabei is, how can we translate Echt Dabei? To be in real life, just something like that, yeah? Just to be here, to be in touch, yeah? That's maybe the translation for Echt Dabei. So it has the aim of a healthy grow up in this digital age where we are right now. I'm also part of the working group Media Education in the Waldorf School of my children, and so we are trying to develop a curriculum for our Waldorf school, and just to bring it in conferences also to other schools. I make educations for Waldorf teachers, how they can, to work with them, how they can bring it into and deal with this theme into their school. So and also with parents and their teachers to make up some agreement on media education and media use in their own classes. So my focus today is on the class teacher period, and because in my experience this time is the most conflicted time in between parents, teachers, and the students. In this grade are the main topics, for example, which we also mentioned here in the conference, how can we find the right balance between media use and the children, or what is the age-appropriate digital education? Another question was how to prevent game or social media addiction. Yeah, so these questions are mainly focused on this time. So, basic steps toward a media maturity. So, to good media education. In later life, they are taken largely in a media-free environment for little children, and in the class teacher time. By this I mean a time of a media-free presence of the teacher who is just there for the children and doesn't use any digital media in this, maybe from grade 1 to 4 or even 5. Maturity. In German we say Mündigkeit. It's actually a rather old-fashioned word, or an expression, but it has also two nice connotations. Hearing the word, if you hear the word, all people think of ripeness, but also it is a ripening process. It has to do with a process. It's nothing that is just here and that you can just afford, or that you can just have if you if you support children very much until grade or until the age of 8. Yeah, it needs time. It needs a lot of time. The second aspect of maturity is the connotation of autonomy, and self-determination. Media maturity primarily signifies a person who is ability to autonomously decide which portion of their time they want to spend with screen media in order to achieve their aims and to satisfy their needs.
Can you repeat this once more, please?
Yes, so media maturity primarily signifies a person's ability to autonomously decide which portion of their time they wish to spend with screen media. So if you want to spend time with screen media, okay, you made this decision by your own, yeah, in order to achieve their aims and to satisfy their needs.
It's right, it's a sentence because it's a very good sentence.
Yeah, it's a sentence I wrote on the blackboard.
It's the same.
Oh, it's the same.
Yeah, but it's missing the skill, technical skill.
Yeah, there was on the end. It was a bit longer. I didn't.
So we put it. Yes, of course, that's perfect. Yeah. So you say, okay, I have to book a flight to Bologna, and you, because I'm going to a conference there, you decide I'll go to a very, well, we say old-fashioned, to a shop to buy the ticket, or you decide, oh, I'm sorry, it's late, I'll do it over the internet, it's much faster, I can print my boarding pass and everything right now. Yeah, that is, you decide what you do with this advice. And that, in the case, you decide pro-computer. This should happen in a manner at once active, temporary, technically competent, and creative. Those are a lot of attributes. If we, for example, think about children of age 5, of course, they are generally very active, yeah? They are competent, they are creative, certainly creative, and they are competent in technical manners depending on their age. Yeah? And however, the ability to manage time and stick in a timetable is nothing what a children age of 5 maybe can handle. Yeah? You can handle, okay, now I booked my flight to Bologna, it's late, I'm going to bed now because I have to get up next morning quite early. So, with a few short lines, I would like to explain this media maturity pyramid. This Paula Blackman, she's teaching media education in Alster at Alano's colleague in Germany, yeah, in university, and she has defined this pyramid of media maturity. That
and everything.
yeah, it's but
because that's that book that yesterday showed us.
exactly that's from her. That's from her.
Still in German only,
But the other one, so we should write this one. Maybe one of you could think about it. It's the former book, Medienmündigkeit, Media Maturity. There she talked very much about the pyramid. And I think this one, because it's from 2012, is already translated in different languages. So we think of little children, and that's because many of our senses are sharpened and developed by these activities, and because children learn to understand and to comprehend by imitating behavior and actions. No? They follow us. If we do something, if I wrap up my clothes, they can help me. They see how I'm going to do it, and they help me putting it together. Yeah? It's called.
Julia, excuse me. Stop 1 second, please. Can I have that?
Do you want me to put it somewhere else or to hold it in the hand? Okay, yes. So you see here the pyramid. In a pyramid, of course, I mean, I'm not an architect, but we all know that you need a very big base. Yeah? Therefore you don't have to be an architect to know this. That's the sensomotoric integration. The coming together of senses and actions of our senses. And if I clap in the hands, it's a coming together of senses because I feel it, I see it, I make the action by myself. If someone claps in the hands on a screen, it's a falling apart of sensomotoric integration because I'm doing nothing, I'm doing no movement, I just see it and maybe I hear it, but I don't do the action by myself. At this point, we also should mention the ability of communicate, by which I mean interhuman communication, by which I mean touching, eye contact, and language, of course, and then at a later stage, for a little child, learning to read and write in school. Those who design their own booklets then jointly go with their form group to a library to find a book there, to find their own way to do research within books. Those will, on a second step, find a better way to do research in internet, because they have learned, I want to find something out about horses. Yeah? So how to go the way to find something out about horses. The first step would therefore to promote the ability to produce something. Yeah? That's what children start, when they actually, with half a year, they learn how to handle with their hands. They have an imagination. Oh, there is something here in front of me. It belongs to myself, to my body. Yeah, that is the first production of something. Then, of course, it goes on in the kindergarten with building some brick walls or doing a puzzle or playing outside in the mud. All this is to produce something. And then, of course, in the school again. The ability to produce something of production is that much important because you learn to deal with frustration if it doesn't work, if someone else is destroying it. Yeah? Or that is very important that children learn this from the very beginning on. The next step, the ability of reception, is to understand, to process experiences and other people's ideas. You can follow me now, what I'm talking about. Or if you read a book, you can say, okay, this in the book I agree with, but on the next chapter, I don't know. I have to think about it. I don't agree with it at all. Yeah, this is the ability of reception. Just to take foreign ideas from another person and to deal with it. Of course, there's the on the last step, the ability of the critical reflection. To stay with the library example, this would equal be the ability to decide whether it would be more productive to do the research online or just go in the library and just to see what they have there for options in books to read there and make some copies, maybe. Yeah? So paramount of all of this here is this covers all of it. It's the ability to select. The selection ability here is defined as a person's awareness that any time spent using digital media is time that cannot be spent for other activities. No? I had a very stressful day today. My work was very hard. What am I going to do tonight? I'm drinking a glass of wine, I'm calling a friend, I'm talking to my husband, or just going to switch on the TV and go through the different programs, or I go to bed. I have the ability to select. Yeah? But therefore you have to know what kind of different possibilities you have. Edwin Hübner, media pedagogue and lecturer at the Freie Hochschule in Stuttgart, also in Germany, refers to the process I just described here, the direct and the indirect media education. So the indirect media education prepares the involving human to successfully deal with the world of media technology by letting them gain physical and haptical experiences first. This one's here. Yeah? And of course, here the ability to production. I think you can imagine that actually they are all very stick together, these parts here. So the direct media education, following by the indirect media education, then defines the human who is able to independently use the digital media in a sensible manner. And being largely free of the presence of digital media in the early class or in the early classes, the indirect media education is therefore to be understood as a preparation for the direct media education. And it is because of this, there's still, of course, media education in the early classes. Maybe here like this. No? I won't do it now, but we can do it later after all, but I think this is media education for kindergartens and first or second graders. This is one I made by myself, but my son made one with Joseph and Maria for Christmas. So in grade first, this is active media education because you create something by yourself. A fourth grade could have a paintball contact with kids from another school, or even from a school in another country, or maybe an analog social network. Nowadays, no classroom environment can ignore the topic of WhatsApp or just text messaging. Yeah? In 5th grade, at latest in grade 6, this will be a major topic in every classroom. If an analog social network is introduced in 5th grade or in grade 4, it will be possible to show the children what will happen with their news and their interactions if they will be in public. The awareness of what they should or should not write will be the consequence of displaying the messages on a board. A colleague of mine, she created even a bot with this social network because she pinned up on the social network in her class a very cute picture of a blonde boy 12 years old. And she wrote under it, I'm a French exchange student, so I would like to come to your class. May I attend your class for 2 weeks? So you can imagine how the girls reacted. So after all, they found out after a couple of weeks that this person doesn't exist at all. So it's an analog bot she created. In the 2 final years of class teacher's time, there's even a clay animation film using the stop motion trick film technique could be realized. This way, a whole story or a topic
Julia, stop for a second, please.
Oh, then I can ask it, which grade did you mention here for the stop motion?
Maybe grade 6, 7.
Okay.
See?
Thank you very much. So you can use it for this stop motion trick film a topic concerning all the students in class. Maybe if there's some problems or something going on, or just work with something that is just in the curriculum, maybe. Yeah, this would be the move from the analog to the digital media, because the analog is the clay animation and how to make the background and the foreground, and of course then the digital ones is taking the pictures with a digital camera and then to further processing it to the computer. So, but it requires the ability to plan and then the ability to abstract. That is very important for that. A class on typing with all 10 fingers could be offered in the second half of grade 8 or maybe at the end of grade 7.
What? Sorry? What was the example?
A typing class. 10-finger typing class.
Oh, yeah.
Even then, so the 3 guiding aspects are product orientation. So it has to be within the curriculum. So not just, okay, today we do it's very boring doing a 10-finger typing class. Yeah. So it has to be in the curriculum, which is just on in the class. That means it is also integrated in the curriculum, and it has to be stimulated from the development. So in grade 3 or 4, it doesn't stimulate the development. A good point is this, maybe in Germany, the schools usually do in grade 8 the biography classwork. They write their own biography. And they usually still do it, that they write it by hand. And afterwards, if they got through this, it's a hard work for them. Then, because they have to do it for more or less the whole year. Then start with the writing course, just to put in some digital text processing, maybe. Important will be, though, to keep an eye on both individuality and creativity. Because if you work with a text processing program, every text of the children could look the same. And that is what we didn't want from grade first one. Every student should have his own expression. So this is something very difficult to handle with that. But then they don't look all the same. Yeah? This will in turn require time, as well, of course, the willingness of both the students and the assisting teachers to try the range of design options, what the program offers. And of course, if you start with abilities gained in using the computer, you have to, well, you must actually, in frequent intervals, this use again, and it needs to be extended. Same as you learn writing by hand. There are intervals in grade 2 and 3 and 4 where you always have to repeat it. If you just do it once and say, okay, it's enough, we now return to the to write by hands, they will forget it in a minute. Here the senior classes then, maybe from grade 9 onwards, they offer a multitude of opportunities as part of the lessons. Further report of work experience they can write. A presentation to be offered. Do they do the presentation analog, with posters maybe? Or will they do it with PowerPoint? Of course, first they try with a poster, and then afterwards they do it with PowerPoint. And then maybe they can discuss which one was better. Yeah, where can the students get better into the topic was presented. Of course, applying for work experience would be a suitable topic. Just to write how an application has to look like. When dealing with an active media project, of course, the radio, film, and photography projects should be included. It is important that the use of digital media will be perceived and continued in the same way as it's done with the analog media. Just to deepen it. Actively working with media is defined as a target in action. The text processing program, videos and photographies will be understood as a means to an end. So it is a way to do something. Yeah? It will be used independently and as a means of communication. Knowing how to use PowerPoint gainfully does depend on already having sufficient experience in make a presentation just with posters or cardboards or just by yourself. The opposite of this would be the passive media usage. Here the user acts a mere consumer and just reacts on what the computer offers or the programs of the computers are offering, such as on computer games and even learning software. Yeah? You just react what is offered to you. So this is something I experienced also in my work. That's why I actually came a couple years ago to this topic here I'm talking about, because in the museum where I'm working and where all the students are coming, the teachers always say, "Oh, don't worry, they are digital natives. They are so much into the topic." So I say, "Okay, so it's good for me. Then we can work faster." And so they make their pictures and or whatever we are doing at this time, and then I say, "Okay, so everyone is going now to his computer," and I explain, "Okay, you put the storage into the into the computer and you create your desktop file. You name the desktop file and you move the data from the storage to the to this created desktop file. From 15 students aged 14 or 15, at least 5 or 6 don't know how to do this. Yeah? They have absolutely no idea. They can't follow these 3 steps I mentioned. Yeah? But remember, they are digital natives. That means they have been learned to react on something. I mean, if we look here at these smartphones, I mean, everyone is using it, but we react on what is shown there. So, and of course, they have problems with the working with the mouse. They don't know how to do it. Yeah, it's a motoric problem, because if they haven't learned to write that well, just build here. This is sensomotoric integration. It's this here. Yeah, they can't just cut out in Photoshop maybe a picture, because they have so many problems with with following the path with a mouse. Yeah, digital natives. So the parents, of course, also ask questions regarding the right point in time. That's why we are also here. When digital media education will be provided by school or in school, after all, parents want to know that their children will be well prepared with regards to this aspect. I can understand it personally very good, because if my neighbor asks me, "Oh, your children are going to a Steiner school. Do you know what they do in media education? Do you have this at your school?" Yeah, I want to give a good answer. It's a pressure that's coming up to us. Usually this does not tend to be a topic for parents in grade 1 or 2. But with a grade 3 or 4, it does come up. Once students start traveling by their own with bus to school, yeah, at least then this topic of having a smartphone or just another mobile device is coming up. Yeah? It is very connected together. So, but before I expand to this aspect of parental contribution, I'd like to discuss here some current, just in a short term, current research on the effects of media. So, in my experience, the results of this research are quite very valuable to parental contribution. So, which kind of effect do have media, or does have media on children? Yeah? I guess all of you has his own experiences. So, in this topic, there are effects which we see directly in our family environment, in our interaction with the children. Yeah, if you have a class and the class is coming on Monday morning, you have the direct result from the weekend. Yeah? Getting them down. So there can be also dangerous consequences, which may not be immediately visible. As an ultimate consequence, in the very end, it may lead to addiction. So, in Germany, there's from 40 students, one will be addicted to computer gaming. From 40.
40 or 14?
40. 40. Yeah? So, put 1.5 school classes together, just by average, one will be addicted.
And with
That's
the addiction, you really mean clinical addiction, that point when you reach that threshold which makes it into a clinical addiction.
It has nothing to do with, oh my God, my son, you're so addicted to your smartphone, can you just put it somewhere, I'm talking to you? Yeah, it's really that you feel that you have like another addiction to alcohol or other drugs. This is a very body-minded addiction there. No? But with it's a lot if you say there's from 40 students, one is getting this addiction.
1 out, excuse me, 1 out of 40.
Mm-hmm. So we are 40 years. No, not, but maybe just a few more of us. And imagine you're students. So at the average, of course, it's always the average. But one of us will be addicted to computer gaming.
And another 10 would use much too much time, and
Yeah.
another 10 would.
And this is much before what I said. Oh my God, you're so addicted to your smartphone. Yeah, because that's what we think almost every day when we are thinking of our children or looking at our children. So the digital media can serve as an outlet or as a regulator for emotions. If something doesn't go on plan or causes stress, the immediate reaction may be to divert to playing a game or watching a film. Yeah? That's what we also does if we came home late and say, oh, I just have to relax. I want to forget the day. It was horrible. I'm watching a movie. Yeah? But this is the ability to select the game. And we are adults and no children anymore. The diversion may make it seems like it was fine after all for the children. Yeah? An instant feel of a good experience. So children themselves may not directly be aware, but they do notice that for the moment that it feels better to them, that it helps them to forget their problems with the other students or bullying or what. Yeah, they can forget it while playing an online game. And they say, okay, it helps me to forget this. There is this, on the one hand, this hypothesis of time delay. So children may have access to their smartphones and mobile devices until late in the evening, maybe all night long. Yeah? So this may cause lack of sleep. Of course, in that case, the smartphone would be the immediate cause of worsening quality of sleep, because there are all the times are coming new messages or whatever, yeah. Because then they would have not sufficient time left to sleep, and they would have no deep sleep experience. Subconsciously, there may be a constant state of an alert, a fear of missing a notification. Also, the child, of course, is exposed to radiation. And the same is, if you play video games the whole afternoon, you forget to, or you don't have enough time to spend, to eat dinner with your family, to make sport, to do your homework, to meet friends. We know the day has only 24 hours. Yeah? So it's, and we all have the feeling of don't having enough time. With computer games, that's the same with the computer games. Maybe even more than, because you're stuck into it, and if you play online role games, it's maybe just another level more. And you don't want the children to be manipulated by this. Yeah? You don't want that you want that they find their own way, that they cope with life, and that they become independent. It's, again, here on the other one, the ability to select. Yeah, that comes here again. So in the long run, children learn much better if their motivation is coming from an internal stimulus. You know? If they say, okay, I want to do this, and because I know it helps me, or it makes fun. I'm interested in it. I want to know how the Romans came to Germany, and why they came to Germany, and how did they actually come over the Alps? How did they manage this? So, and this is where you will lay where the foundation is being laid in the class teacher time, just to help children that they make good experiences, that they create the ability to produce something, yeah, that they learn an instrument because they say, oh, it's good for me, or they go to a dance course, or they want to do their homework because they know, okay, and the next day the teacher will just look at it, and I have the aim to have my homework done. So there's also the hypothesis of the impaired reading abilities. You know? This explains why written text may seem unappealing when compared to a computer, a game, or watching a film, because the film or the game, it's so colored, it's animated, there happens so much. Oh my God, this text in black and white. And the next morning in school, it is just so boring. Yeah? Oh, I don't want to pay attention to this at all. Yeah? Why should I? Yeah? So, or just writing something on a blackboard, if I may, it's just tedious then. If you're used to watch films and play games until late in the night. So, but this will be then, or the effect will be that you don't see any necessary in learning reading, because you understand what is going on in the computer games and in the movies. So why should I pay attention in learning reading? It's so stressful. It stresses me. Yeah, that's what the result is from this. So there's also the hypothesis of the processing information. So this is something which is, for Steiner schools, I think important, because if you watch TV or if you do something on a computer playing a game, it provides a lot of visual stimulation to you. All of these stimulations need to be processed. Yeah? If you play it till 10 o'clock in the night, this need to be processed during your sleep. But as a child, you need to sleep to grow up healthy and to grow up proper, not to process what you've been dealt with in this computer game. So, and giving this, what we do in Steiner schools, we teach in, how to say, in epoch, yeah. So, and we do this because we say, after the epoch, the input needs to come down, to deepen in the student, yeah, and therefore it needs time that it can be processed in the student. And if it's going to be interrupted always by playing games till late in the night, it won't work. Yeah? So I think this is especially for how we understand education in Waldorf, or how we understand Waldorf education. Of course, there's the emotion regulation. Yeah? It causes the parents-child interaction. If you don't clean up your room, you will have no access for 3 days to your mobile device. Yeah? So this is not, well, that's what it's used for very often. Yeah, it's if you don't learn for the next test in school, you have to quit. I'll quit your internet for a week. So, but that is emotion regulation, and it is not, and it's very stressful and actually really in the wrong way going parents-child interaction. The digital device, is the mobile device, or the digital, just the screen, is used for pressure. Yeah? And because it's the last way out.
I also think it's also the problem that it is put above the other things, because if you do these horrible bad things like your homework, then you can go to that wonderful, godly world of the digitalization.
Yeah.
Because that's what you say. It's like, if you don't eat your food, you won't get your sweets. It's the same.
That was my example for this. Exactly. Eat your dinner, you will get the sweets. Yeah, that's.
It's the same. It's a double mistake. It's a pedagogic mistake. It's a relationship mistake at the same time.
Or eat the vegetables and not only the fries. So I think there are many possible examples to. So the current research has on the effects of media mentioned here 3 parameters: the content, the time, and the function.
So what would be an alternative way of to regulate, for example, media use?
To make, because if it's already in this stage, or we say in German.
In general, if we have to.
No, you have to make the rules before. Yeah. You have to say, okay, now you're old enough. I'll trust you. You get a mobile device. You get it for maybe for an hour or 2 hours a day. But at 6 o'clock, it's in a mobile hotel. Yeah. Install a mobile hotel at home. I mean, what happens if the mobile device from your child is empty in the morning? Oh my God! So I'm a good mother. I'll take care that the mobile device is it's charged next morning. So at 6 o'clock, all mobile devices mine also, and from my husband also, that the important thing is in the mobile hotel. Yeah? So make the rules before. If it is already here, you can handle it, but it's much more conflicted.
I think that sometimes we expect that children need to. There are two options sometimes to regulate the children with this kind of conversations. If you don't do that, I'm not going to give you that, or to expect to regulate by themselves. And I think that the point in the middle are the rules. I think that the rules, and when they are older, they can follow the rules. I think that it's, and even when they don't understand the rules, they have to follow them because it's like
maybe I think the word rules, it's better to talk about agreements.
Exactly.
Because if you say a rule, you say, hey, you're not old enough, you have to follow this. But if you make an agreement, it's an interaction. It's
an interaction. A rule that we
you talk, and you have to be honest to the needs of your child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being a teacher, I will have to work after school at home, assessing, preparing lessons. But I think a lot of people work, at least in Holland, from home, so they have a lot of conflict about this. Because I can't stay at 6 o'clock. I have to play my device, and otherwise I have to work till 12 o'clock.
But it's the same with me. My husband and our children see us working on the computer.
Yes,
that is our main operation thing we need. So my older son, he already said, "Oh, my mom is doing sports." Yeah. So that's what. But I say, okay, we have the computers in our work room, and we can close the doors. We close the doors for dinner on Sunday, yeah? And I use it, I try, not always, but most of the time, it works. When I spend time with my children, I close the doors. It's like in a store, sorry, we are closed. Yeah? So they learn to understand, and then they see if I work on the computer, I don't play games.
Of course. Can I add something? But it's very strange because actually I don't have always that much time to be with my kids, so I have to say this way of doing it in the kitchen because I feel their vicinity. I feel like they are playing. I can watch over them, and I do enjoy, seeing that. So I also have this thing that separate myself, and then the separate. There's something strange because as a mother, I would like to participate indirectly in their, but they are there here to me. So I'm wondering.
Yeah, but I think this also depends how old the children.
9, 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of
challenges. Mm-hmm. Also, everybody doesn't have a room to close.
Yes, look, of course. It's
But you can close a box. You know what I mean? If you don't have a room, you can invent a visual space to make understand the rule.
But it's hard work.
It is. But yeah.
Maybe it could be a good idea when the time arrives that our children ask for a device, for a mobile device, to approach the issue in the way to let them understand how we use the devices, so that they can understand day by day that the use we do of that device is for work.
It's a working tool. Yeah.
Exactly.
And in that way, in time, so not having a meeting just to agree and find a deal how to use the mobile. Day by day, they learn, and when maybe we understand, they could manage by themselves or start to manage them, okay, they are already aware. So it's an agreement, is a deal that can be built in weeks or months so that they can be prepared once they have and be aware that is part of their day, part of their life, and as they can study all day long, as they can practice sport all day long, or play all day long, they can neither stay with the device on their hands, on their mind all day long. So it's part of their time, so they could be aware how to manage it, and they also could be, depending on their age, aware that we don't have this device always with us just for our pleasure or for our dependence on them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I agree. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to say something. I think that you still have to, would like to share some things with us that we can use, and we will have another discussion later where we can bring in and really these practical things too that we can give to each other.
Thank you.
Okay, without really trying to. Sorry.
Yeah. So write your questions, please. Please write it. You don't forget it.
Yes. Yes.
So this is something I really use also with these parental contribution. If I work with parents, I go in classes, in Waldorf classes, but only by the invitation of the class, of the parents, and the class teacher. Because they have to be before, make the discussion about, okay, we want to have an agreement about media use. Otherwise, I don't come because they are not into the topic. So, and during this work with these parents and the class teacher, so the goal is to have an achievable just to have something where the class and the teacher can handle with a good feeling what they really can subscribe. Yeah? Where they say, okay, this is something where we can follow it. So, of course, not all the parents from a class will follow it. Yeah? But that doesn't matter. At least the topic is in the class, and maybe a third or half of the class, and it's already good, is thinking about it. So, and based on my own experience, I think it is it makes sense to address this topic already in grade 1 or 2, because then you're before the children, because the children will bring it into the classroom, and it's always better to be the first. I know in grade 1, most of the parents don't think if it's their first child, if it's their first child in school, they don't think about this topic. If they have older children in upper classes, they thank you very much that you're already talking about this. So, if I work with the parents and the teacher, I not make any demands of my points, because all the points that have been written in the agreement has come out of the discussion through the parents, or between the parents, because it has to fit to this class, because the parents have to deal with it. It doesn't make sense if I say, okay, here's the agreement, just please sign it, read through it, and good luck with it. Yeah? So, they have to do it by their own, and they need to have the feeling that they created by themselves, that it fits to their, or it's appropriate to their needs. Because it's so different. Maybe in the one school you have a mobile device, can you bring your mobile device to school, and another school it's not allowed. So there are so many different points to think about. So this can be on how the agreement can, how do we deal with if the children are visiting each other in the afternoon? Are they allowed to watch movies or not? All this can be written in the agreement. Yeah? Or how do we go with research in if they have to do some research for homework? Are they allowed to do it on computer? Do we just bring them to the library to do the research there? Yeah, or to use a lexicon, an old-fashioned one? Yeah, or how to deal with birthdays? Do we want that the children are watching a movie on a birthday invitation? Or don't we want to do this? How do we handle it on school trips? You know, if the children are, I've been talking to a couple of you yesterday how to deal with school trips. The children are for 1 week in Rome, yeah, and how do we handle with that? So all these and a lot of topics more can be in this agreement. The conditions for training and education, if it works, will be improved. All the teachers are telling me if it works in school. Yeah? The students will be, of course, protected from risky content. If you say, okay, just go to the internet and just check. Have you written the name? And in Germany, if you put in Google, and if you have made no preferences in your browser, if you put in the name Yasmin, it's a first name, and it's also the name of Jasmine of the plant. With just 2 steps, you're on pornographic sites. And that was, especially girls do very much, they want to know, where does my name comes from? Well, I know, my name is Julia, and I have a relation here to Verona, and so I don't need the internet for that. But that's what children want to, girls, it's a main topic for them. Yeah? So just 2 steps. Try it. It depends a little bit on the browser you're using, but 2 steps, and they are on hardcore pornographic sites.
Yes. This is a Hungarian
Yeah. So the attention in the classroom will increase if we have this agreement, and for parents, the agreement will be something that can be actioned immediately. Yeah? It is something can work right now. And it will also build up a more solidaric action in the class between the parents and, of course, between the students. Of course, a parental agreement is an appreciation of the parent's role. It does not include prohibitions and should not be regarded as a regulation. That's why it is an agreement. The latter would create rejection and would make cooperation more difficult. Also, the agreement is an agreement with a time limit. That's very important. It is based on the children's development and will therefore be, if you do it in grade 2, you have to look at it in grade 3, 4, 5, because the needs and the class is changing. Yeah? maybe the opinions of the parents. Maybe a parents or children move from the class and other come into the class. There are so many possibilities. So, starting in grade 6 and 7, then the parental agreement also has to be adjusted. Yeah? How do we? Are we using filter in our browser, or how can this be installed? This kind of filters, or or a whitelist. Yeah? A whitelist. I see many questions. A whitelist is that you allow your child, that you can install in your browser a whitelist that allows your child just to go on, to say very restrictive, 5 different addresses in the internet. And no further. So with this, the Jasmine example can't happen. Yeah. So, and on the other side, the blacklist is that doesn't allow your child to go on this and this and this and this side, because that's what I need for my work, because my child is using maybe going on my computer. Yeah, but this only I do have access to, and not my children. That is something where you have to think about when grade 6 or 7 in school. Yeah? Talk about this, and because we make the experience, if we ask parents, oh no, we don't have any problems at home, my children know that at silent school, they don't use the computer, no at all. So, but then you're talking to the children of these parents. They are well educated in this. So our goal is we have to be before this. We have to be before.
You have 15 minutes.
So in 3 minutes I'm done here, and then we can. So ask in advance, but thank you. Ask in advance who among the parents is in the topic with installing a whitelist or a blacklist. Usually, or frequently, are the fathers. So it's good to bring the fathers in the class. Of course, I know at this point I would like to recommend. I have it here only in German, but
I already showed it, and it's on the ENSWAP.
So okay, yeah, I know, but I haven't been here on Friday, so but everyone is knowing. Perfect.
But it's also on the ENSWAP website, the link to the PDF version of the English and the German.
Yeah,
the blue one.
The blue one
is only in German.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's also, isn't it also in Spanish? I think the blue one. But you should check it out.
I don't know. I have also brought some. It's like how to deal with children in media, but most of them in Germany. But I have some in Russia and some in English, and yeah, it's from our Echt Dabei program. So it's here. I spread it after. Yeah, make a run. So I would like to. Anchor, or to.
Grazie.
Yeah.
Manca l'italiano, ma ci penseremo noi.
Italian is missing.
We can translate it to Italian. It's not
Don't
problem.
worry.
We can make it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I would like to encourage you to include this topic of the media usage in parents' seminars for the parents who are interested of the children for the next first grade. So, because if you put this topic in the seminars, you have an opinion to it. You tell the parents, okay, this is our opinion on this, and it helps the parents if they will get asked, hey, what are your children are learning in Stanford? Are you crazy getting your child on this restricted school? Yeah, you have to deal with this. Maybe it depends where you live. Yeah. So mention whether a parental agreement is described as I told, that the people or the interested parents already know, okay, this will come up. Yeah? It's not only coming every third Saturday to help in the garden, to help with garden work. So we also have to think about this. The school where I want to have my children is a school where they think about this media use. So it helps to make a decision pro, maybe, or also contra to this kind of school. So I would like to conclude just this presentation with a picture. Imagine by yourself a sailing ship on a huge ocean. Just a little, or just a normal sailing ship. The ship is a child in this huge ocean. And when we imagine the ship, there is an important part that we cannot see. There's the ocean, the ship. It's under the water, it's the keel. Yeah? And the keel is so much important that the ship can sail proper, and if there's coming a storm or whatever, that it has its direction, that it knows where to go. With regards to media maturity, what you are working on is what you are working on. What we are working on here is to ensure this keel that it will remain, or that it will grow strong, that it will remain and grow proper and strong. You will do this with indirect media education first, as I mentioned before, in the junior years, and then it will turn into direct media education in the middle years. So, and then and also with a valuable parental contribution. With all this, you will, strengthen this keel, but it's nothing to see at first. Thank you very much for your attention.
Still show a stop motion film, or is something short?
It depends on how many questions there are.
But we can't have another questions. We could move direct to the discussion because we have been now for almost 1.5 hours.
So we skip it, or just maybe one short?
In Russian.
Okay. Just wait a second and please go back to just a sec. Okay. Julia is going to show us. Julia will still show us the short stop-motion film that she talked about, that we can see what that means and how that could help. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
that's what you talked about.
Actually, the plan was that we all do by ourselves here this stop-motion film. But
the time.
If it's a good conference, there's lack of So, thank you. That gives us some peace. Yeah. So, yeah, we discussed yesterday, and I decided otherwise I would have to say, okay, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. That won't help anyone. So, I will just show you maybe one or two examples how this can work. Yeah?
And after that, we will have a very much shorter coffee break. Really 10 minutes, please, because we still have a workshop after that, and we still have the wrap-up part. Oh my God! What did I do wrong? So right after this, we have a short coffee break,
okay.
and after that we come back
Okay,
and
thank you.
Have a workshop.
So I have to go. I'm going here. Yeah. This one I made with in a museum with kindergarten children. Yeah, because they also in Germany need to have media education. Yeah, but I just let them scratch and make this after all by myself during they ate their bread and had a short break. So, but after all, the educators could say, okay, we did media education. Yeah. Now that was children aged 4 did it. Yeah, they created it. And it's all the time. All the educators are thinking, oh, okay, the children are so crazy getting to the computers, and I say, yeah, I know. So it's always hard to get them off the crayons and to get them off to build this. I always have to say, oh, child, I'm sorry, you kids, we have to hurry up, and because we only have less time, and if they are on this preparation, they don't think about this computers. They are not interested in it anymore. And of course, this short time, I would.
So this is these children are from regular schools.
Yes.
And they are obliged.
Yeah. They are from regular schools or from a regular kindergarten. They have to come. They have to do this in their curriculum. I feel very sorry for those educators, but on the other hand, I'm glad they are coming to me, because afterwards they can say, okay, we did it, but they haven't done anything with digital media in it.
I think this is very valuable for those countries in Europe where also in Waldorf schools they are obliged.
Yes, I know in Switzerland they have to do now. Yeah, and I'm there with a colleague in contact, because even the Steiner schools have to do it in Switzerland now. Yeah, it's very hard to handle for them. So, and at the end, there's a very opposite. I will show one that made teachers in January in a teacher in a teacher workshop to show them how to work with this. So we have to get it's in the end. No, maybe between. Just show this. This is from the back side. Maybe you can see it's just a cardboard I put on a table here, and that's the background. I just photographed it from the back side, but the background, you have to turn it around, so you can wrap it up everywhere in every classroom. You don't need for the first step any kind of well-equipped media room. Yeah. There you build the background and the foreground and work with the clay animation and whatever. This is what they made. The topic is it's because yeah, we built just up a new pizza brick oven in the school. That's why they decided to.
What's this guy?
But it has a happy end. Yes. Even in the anthroposophy, there is the pizza god coming. So that's maybe that's a very wide range from the one example to the other one, but just that you can imagine what is possible to do in there. Yeah? Okay.
That's a good question. How long did it take for you to make this?
We made this in 1.5 hours. Yeah? But this is just a little bit to hurry up with so I have to. 2 hours is better. So you can do it in a class, maybe in the morning time, where you have the 2 hours. You can make the preparation, and maybe the next day you can take the pictures. And as more pictures you have, as longer the movie is. The children are very into it because I tell them, okay, if you watch a movie on YouTube, whatever, you'll see 24 frames, single photographs in a second. And that's what makes a movement. Yeah? So they try. Maybe this one is here with a little bit more than 100 pictures. So, and they have, I tell them, okay, you have to make at least 100 pictures. What? 100 pictures? That's impossible. So, and then they say after, okay, we have less than 100 pictures. We have only 17 seconds of a movie. It helps them to understand how much work it is to make a Star Wars movie. It takes 2 years. Yes?
More people.
And more people.
I have a finance degree and I study different possibilities for children between what we can find in films. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because there are many films that children's films, but you really need to find them that are made with this kind of materials, you know, video or designs, but not the mass media ones. So even when you need to find someone to bring to the children, you can find creative options, and then to connect these options with this kind of exercises. I think that there's a world, you know, that we don't know because it's not in the mass media. You know what I mean?
No, it is. Some of these parts the teachers have been taken from the Jahreszeitentisch. The season table that is in a classroom, because they're like, oh my God, what are we going to take now? And I said, okay, we have everything here. Yeah, it's just bring it together, build something, and then we go ahead. Yeah, it's coffee.
How many orders have the student? How about the children that made the second?
No, that were teachers.
Only the teachers.
That were teachers. But yeah, teacher workshops. Thank you for your time.
We will try in the workshop also with the